Today I want to show you how to make homemade yogurt. It is so easy. It's just a little time consuming, and it only takes 2 ingredients, milk and a starter, which I'm just using a couple tablespoons of the previous batch of plain yogurt that I made a couple weeks ago. You can use store-bought yogurt. I used that the first time, and I just used plain regular yogurt, and now I'm using a little bit of the batch that I made from that. So this is my second time. I already talked about using the whey that drips out when you strain the yogurt to make Greek yogurt. I used the whey in a potato soup recipe. So I'm going to show you today how to make it, and tomorrow, because it's a 2-day process the way I do it. But it's simple. It just takes maybe an hour of time to, kind of prep things. But then it's a lot of sitting and waiting and draining. So anyway, it's pretty easy. So here we go. Today I'm going to show you how I make homemade yogurt. It just takes 2 ingredients. I just poured in half a gallon of milk into this pan. The burner is set on high. I'm going to turn that down though, because we don't want the milk to scorch. I'm going to put it on about medium low because my burners run hot, and I will have to stand here and stir this pretty much the whole time. We don't want it to stick on the bottom. I'll come back to show you when it's ready. It has to form bubbles around the edge from heat, not these little air bubbles that are there now. Or you can use a food thermometer and get it up to 185 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'll be back. I wanted to show you real quick. I rigged up this thermometer by using a clothespin to keep it propped up here on the edge of the pan. Right now it's at 164.4.6 degrees Fahrenheit. It needs to get to 185, but see all the bubbles around the edges? Kind of looks like it's done to me, but I am continuing to stir so it doesn't stick to the bottom, and I'm gonna go ahead and let it get up to 185. Since I have this thermometer, I might as well use it. But this is what it's supposed to look like. All those little bubbles around the edge. 166. So I'll be back soon to show you when it's up to temperature of 185. We're going to watch this go to 185. There it is. See all those bubbles in there along the edge? That's what it's supposed to look like. So I'm going to turn off the heat. Take off the thermometer, put it over here. I'm going to put the lid on here and move it over to the sink into the cold water, just like that. So it needs to cool down so that you could pretend you're making a baby bottle. You just splash some on your wrist until it's at a comfortable temperature that the baby could drink it without scalding its mouth. So I'm just going to leave it in here for a little while. I wanted to mention that it took 27 minutes for the milk to get to the right temperature, 185 Fahrenheit. So it takes a little time, and you just need to stir it, pretty often. I was putting away some dishes and things, but you need to stir it so that it doesn't stick, and use pretty low heat. So we'll come back and check this in a little bit. The milk is at the right temperature. I just splashed a little from this spoon onto my wrist, and it was very tolerable. So now is the big, we're going to add in yogurt. I'm just going to pour all of this in. This is the homemade yogurt that I made last time. My starter for that one, this is the starter to make this container of milk or of yogurt. The starter last time was a couple tablespoons of plain regular yogurt, and I just stirred them into this milk just like I did here. So I'm going to go ahead and just pour all of this in. It's a little more than a couple tablespoons, but I think that's okay. And I'll just stir it in with this spoon. And now, if you've ever made homemade yogurt this way, you know what's next. A whole bunch of waiting. All right, I'm going to put the lid back on. And I will show you where I'm going to put this. Wipe off the bottom here a little bit. Okay, here we go. It's going back over to the stove. I have a towel down in my oven. I'm going to set the pan right there on that towel and wrap it up like a baby. So that's it. I'm going to push this in, and that's going to stay in the oven. The oven is not turned on. It's going to stay in there overnight. So tomorrow morning, I will show you what the next step is. It is 6:30 a.m. the next day, and I took the pan of yogurt out of the oven, and I'm getting ready to strain it. So I'm going to remove, well, I'll just leave the towel here in case I drip. That'll make things easier, and then I can just wash the towel. So I took a peek at it, and look. Can you see it's not moving? It's not milk anymore. It's yogurt. And it's coming away from the side of the pan over here. But it is really thick. This batch came out better than the previous one. So I have a bowl, and then I have a strainer, a colander, and I put cheesecloth in it, and I'm just going to set that in the bowl. Just like that. Let me move this so you can see a little better. So here is my setup. And I'm just using one layer of cheesecloth, and I'm going to spoon the yogurt into here. Looky there. This turned out a lot better. My first batch was kind of thin in comparison. But this has been in the oven without, no heat turned on for 14 hours. The pan sat in there overnight. I put it in about 4:30 yesterday afternoon, and it is now 6:30 a.m. and it is a little looser underneath. So it's similar. It was a little thicker on top, but it's still, it turned out last time. It's going to turn out this time. Show you real quick. It's already dripping. I don't know if you can see that. The whey is dripping out of the yogurt, and I'm going to try just dumping this into here. So that is how you prepare the yogurt after it's set up overnight for it to strain and become Greek yogurt. Because I'm going to cover it and put it in the refrigerator for probably, 6 hours. And it is really dripping, so it's going to get a lot of that whey out of there. and concentrate the yogurt so that it's not so runny. It'll be thicker like Greek yogurt. So I covered the colander, and I have the bowl with the colander in the refrigerator, and we'll check back later. It is now 9:30 a.m., so the yogurt has been straining for 3 hours. I've taken it out of the fridge, taken the cover off, and would you look at all that whey that has dripped out. I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to save the whey, put it in a container. Because I think maybe the bottom of the colander was sitting in it. So we're going to let it drip some more. I'm going to put the cover back on, put it back in the fridge, and I will check it again in a few more hours. My yogurt, I think, is done. It's about 2 hours since the last time I checked it, and I'm going to take this container, this lid off, and it's kind of sunken in. Can you see that? And it's put that much more whey out into the world. So I'm going to pour the whey into the container with the other one. So I'll use that in a soup or maybe in some smoothies, but it's really evidently good for you, so I'm not going to waste it. And here is our yogurt. So like I said, I think this one's set up a little better than the one before, my other batch, because this is just the second batch I've made. But I'm going to put it in this a yogurt container. And oh yeah, look how thick and nice that is. And I wanted to tell you how much this cost. Basically, to start out, you have to either get some kind of starter kit, you know, the cultures to get the yogurt to work, to make it, or you can just use plain yogurt, which is what I did. So you could buy one little carton of yogurt, or like me, I bought this, and then I saved a couple tablespoons and used that. Here is what I got from this batch of yogurt. I got a bowl full that I'm going to eat, and this carton is 2 pounds, and it's pretty much full. It's, you know, if I put that from the bowl into here, it'd definitely be full. So this only cost me, the starter yogurt, and that just depends if you use yogurt like this or some kind of culture. And I used almost a half gallon of milk. I had actually used some for something else. So that was on sale for $1.27. So it's very cheap. This is a minimum of about $4 if it's on sale. So I think it's a great savings. It takes the part of 2 days to make, but it's easy. There's not much to it. And like I said, it's about an hour total of kind of messing with it, which is, you know, what else am I doing with my time? Not a lot. So I enjoy doing it, and you do need some cheesecloth and a strainer, colander, and a bowl and a pan to cook it. So you need a few kitchen appliance, you know, tools, but you probably have it on hand. You may need to buy some cheesecloth. Who knows? So I'm going to give this a try. I'll put the recipe up, and if you want to, you know, pause the video and take a screenshot or a picture of it, feel free to do that. It's very simple to make, and I hope you'll give it a try. my favorite part. I get to taste the yogurt. It's very thick. It's as thick as any Greek yogurt I've ever bought. This batch came out really nicely. The other one, I don't know if I didn't drain it long enough, but it was a little runnier. It was still good, but this one is very thick. So I'm going to give it a try. I put a little bit of stevia in it, just one of those little packets, and probably about 1/4 of it, not very much at all. And I cut up a strawberry. So let's see how it tastes. It's really good. Like I said, it's just like any yogurt that I've bought, but it's about 1/4 of the price. And it depends on how much you pay for your ingredients, your yogurt to start it, and the milk. So I got my milk on sale. It cost about $1, $1.25 to make 2 pounds of yogurt. Not bad. Not bad at all. So let me know if you will try making some homemade yogurt, and if you have success, if you've ever tried it before, or if you just would rather buy it, or if you don't even eat yogurt, then you don't need to mess with it. But I am glad I tried this because it is simple. It's kind of satisfying to see the process too. You know, you just do a few things, you let it sit, and then the next day you've got yogurt. It's pretty cool. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.